What's up, people? 'Tis I. And you can see I have a big mess in my floor, as usually, that I didn't bother trying to clean up before I made this video, because that's how we roll. And what I've got going on here is basically a mess. So what you're looking at is Mr. Brian Seal's armature, and it's going through the final processes of its construction. And this part is really the most difficult part and the biggest pain in the ass of the whole entire project. So I figured I'd share a little bit of it with you guys. And I'm not going to show you everything because essentially I might give away too many details that I really don't want to give away, but I'll show you a little bit of it anyway. So I've got these blades basically set. Pinky blade won't stay on for shit because I really need to readjust the whole entire pinky fulcrum and all kinds of crap. The pinky tip needs to be adjusted, and there's just all these things that I have to do to get this thing where I need it to be. So the thing that sucks about it is that it's so close, but it's so far away. You know what I mean? And what I'm going to go through here, I'm going to explain a couple things about this thing in theory, and you know, not saying that I'm an expert on this because I'm certainly not. Okay, I'm just trying to share with you guys as I learn and what I'm learning. I'm basically just kind of passing it along, you know, and I'm learning a lot, especially with, you know, all the reference that I have and all of these different things that I'm working with. You know, I'm finally working with the NSA documentary shot and screenshots from that, and lots of materials that I'm working with. And so I've noticed a lot of little nuances about the part 1 and 2 and differences between the back plate. And that's one of the things that I wanted to speak about, the back plate. You know, that's one of the things that I've been working on for a long time to get it just right, and it's still not just right. There's essentially, you know, there's this huge dent that takes place right in this area, right in here, and it's really difficult to get, but it's essential to sinking the ring finger down just a tad. And honestly, I just didn't get it exactly right on this glove, and it's one of the few things that, you know, I'm looking at and I'm just like, my God, this is just not right, and I want it fixed. So something that I'm still working on. And you know, there's other things too, like, you know, the lengths of the blades and how the blades sit on, you know, each tip, and all of these crazy things, like this ring tip. You know, this whole entire ring finger has just been, you know, an absolute nightmare. And you know, I've done the best that I can trying to get it the way that it should be, but essentially it's got all these things that are going on. And you know, there's this big split that takes place right in between these that it really shouldn't be there, and that's, again, you know, because of part of this back plate, the bend, is not there. Okay, so it's just not, plain out not there. And there's another detail that I'm working on, which, you know, some of you have probably noticed that this area of the ring finger has this little indention right in here, and it kind of swoops down just a tad. I mean, it's just ridiculous, really. So that's something else I'm working on. So really, the whole entire finishing here is relying upon this damn ring finger. Now the pinky, you know, like I said, I've got some things that I have to do with it, and you'll notice it's sitting totally to the side. I mean, like, majorly over to the side. You can see how tilted it is in comparison with the other fingers. You know, when I got this, and we were looking at a straight down view of the pinky, notice how angled off the index finger is, and we're almost looking at it, you know, from the side. So needless to say, that particular part of this glove is a real bitch to get right. And, you know, it takes bukus of adjustment and all these things to get it to the point to where it all looks like it's all laying properly and all these things. And so, you know, that's what I'm really trying to get down now. And essentially, Brian is going to get the first one that I'm dealing with this process on in a new light. You know, I've always known that this back plate does some funny things. I've always known that the whole entire glove is kind of, you know, lopsided, and it really is a nightmare. And like right now, even the way that it looks on screen on my camera is completely different from what it looks like when I'm looking at it with, you know, both eyes in 3 dimensions. And everything looks really, really just way more exaggerated than it really is when you're looking at it through the camera for some reason. And everything looks like it arcs up more, bulges out more. Everything just looks more exaggerated to some extent. And that, and then there's these still shots where you get, you know, certain beams of light shining, you know, on the tips, like here, you know, with this middle tip. Take a look at that, and, you know, look at the shape of the tip, and take note of how flat the top of the tip looks. Okay? Now, as we come around, swoop around this way, notice that the tip still looks, you know, somewhat flat, but it doesn't look quite as flat. And, you know, as I get it closer and change the angle, now look at it. Doesn't look nearly as flat, right? And that's because essentially it is flat and it's not at the same time, okay? It's got flattened areas, but the whole entire tip is not flat. It's also round. And man, I can't even explain this shit to you guys, because it's just absolutely a fucking nightmare to get this shit to the point that I'm trying to get it to. And, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it exactly where I want it or not. It's just going to be a matter of messing with it and struggling and trying and working with it, you know, and that's essentially what I'm doing, and trying to share with you guys, you know, what I learned along the way. And as of right now, you know, what I've learned is that this glove has a certain way that it lays, a certain way that it behaves, a certain way that the fingers position themselves depending on how you hold your hand. All of those things is, you know, essentially what I'm trying to match up. Less the cosmetics of the glove and more of how the glove actually behaves. And in order to get it to behave exactly right, everything needs to be bent pretty much down exactly right. Rivet lengths need to be right. Ring lengths need to be right. All this stuff goes into it, that it all has to be just right in order for it to move the way that I want it to move, for it to work the way that I want it to work. So, you know, I've been looking at all of these reference shots, and, you know, it's just ridiculous because this thing changes so much dependent upon, you know, where you're actually viewing it from and what angle you're looking at it at. It just, I swear, this glove is just plain out evil. And that's all I really know to say about it. And as you can see, I've got, you know, my build back plate back there because I've been messing with it too. So this is where I'm at, and just to give you guys, you know, an idea of what's going on here with the blades themselves, I'll show you this particular one is, you know, pretty well set, and I'm going to try to get it down here to where we can get a view of what's going on. So, you know, you can see what's going on with this blade, and it's pretty much about right, about where I want it to be. Okay, it's probably the best one so far. Now, let me show you this other blade. Okay, I'm going to go to the middle finger, and with the middle finger, same deal, pretty well good. The only problem is is that at the front of the tip, the blade really doesn't jut in that low. It needs to be shaved off some and raised up some so that essentially it doesn't match at the very bottom of the tip, you know. So I don't know how well you can see this stuff. I mean, you know, I'm doing the best I can here to film this by myself, but essentially this is what I've got, okay? And then when we get over here to the index is good in the front, but you know, it's got some problems. The front really needs to be ground down so the tang is a bit longer and comes back further. That's going to cause, you know, that arc of the blade to come back a little bit. And you know, that's another thing that my friend, you know, that this is actually being built for. My friend Brian, he had mentioned, you know, that essentially each one of these blades sit completely different on the glove. You know, they've all got their own unique thing going on, and there's just nuances with them too. And honestly, I'd like to get all of that stuff in this one glove, but it's just going to be impossible. And you know, I'm going to do what I can with it. I'm going to get it the very absolute best I can, and then I'm just going to have to give up, you know, because I could get really anal and work on this thing for like a year trying to get every single piece of it to look exactly like it does in these screenshots I have. And then, to be honest with you, there comes a point where I just have to be like, alright, this is all the damage that I can do for now, and I have to do it in all the art that I do. Even my graphic designs, I'll just continue to build stuff in there forever until they're just so big that they're about to blow my computer's processor, you know, because I don't ever give up. I just keep working at something. That's part of the reason why I like building this thing, is because it's something I can work on for a long period of time. And you know, it takes me a long time to get these things done, but it's because essentially I really do try to put every little bit of detail that I can find into it, and I also try to make it to where the glove, you know, has really good mobility and will move freely, move naturally with your hand, and that stuff is really difficult to do, and it takes a long time. And this is as far as I've gotten, you know, after the 5 years that I've worked, and I haven't built very many gloves because I'm uber picky about it, and I'll just keep on building and messing with it until I get it right, until I get it to where I'm happy with it, you know. And I'm happy with a lot of this glove. I'm happy with a whole lot of it. As a matter of fact, I never figured that I would make it this far, but now that I am this far, it just keeps on going, and it's like it never really ends, you know. So just thought I'd share my thoughts with you on that, and you can see what kind of shape I have going on with the middle here on this. And you know, I've done work on the bottom of the tang, I've done work all over it to get it to set right, and you know, that's what I'm doing now. So it's hard to tell how long it's going to take, but soon enough. You know, you guys have seen me progress slowly. I'm in college, you know, I have a job, I'm trying to work, there's a lot of things going on in my life, and I'm doing the best that I can. But I enjoy my work with the Freddy glove. I have ever since I started, and I want to thank all of the glove builders out there, you know, especially Travis Cowsell, because he's definitely been one of my biggest inspirations in this whole entire thing. But you know, everybody out there has helped me. Brian Seals, you know, Michael Ramirez, Congroy Collectibles, you know, bought my first glove. Totally awesome dude. Man, all of these people that I've met through building gloves and through my interest in Freddy gloves, I've met some of the coolest people on the internet doing this. So, you know, it really is for the love of the glove. And I know that it takes me a long time to get my work finished, and I know I continue to film lots of stuff, and it's just because essentially I really enjoy hearing myself talk and watching these videos and looking over everything and saying, oh, this looks this way, and you know, I can just tell a lot more from looking at it this way than I can looking at it through my own eyes, as odd as that is. So anyway, I hope that this has helped, you know, some of you guys understand a few things that you may not have before. Again, you know, I'm not an expert on this thing. It's just simply something that I'm learning and trying to share, you know, whatever I learn with you guys. All that I can anyway. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave this be at the 15-minute mark. You know me, get to running my mouth and just can't shut up. So, that's all. I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'll probably film some more, you know, about my thoughts. And if you guys have any thoughts you want to leave, any kind of critiques about my work, definitely feel free to do so. I'm more than open to any ideas you guys may have. And thanks to every one of you for watching my videos.